Hey, this is George from Radio Free Universe. You're watching the Network 317 podcast.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us for another episode of the Network 317 podcast. Tonight we have George Panagopoulos, vocalist for Radio Free Universe. What's going on, dude?
Not too much, just chilling in the backyard.
Your full length, Love. Let's jump into that. Tell me what that's about.
It's like a turning point for me in the way I approach my music. I sort of like things from a very we're just writing songs perspective. Somebody writes a riff and I just kind of feel something and sing on top of it or whatever. But now this is more writing from that source of stuff out there that speaks to you in little whispers, and those melodies that you kind of pick up on, and then you find that you start to share those with people that you're close with, and they can hear it too, and the song itself becomes an entity. Right, so it has its own. To me, it has its own energy and its own purpose. So this record sort of, the name for the record came after all the songs were done, but that's really kind of, how it happened. It was a pure, sort of a different approach to doing music for me.
We went online and threw some questions out there to get a little feedback from off like social media about you guys, and we threw the songs out there, and to be quite surprised, here's what we got. I'm going to ask about the song Circle.
Meet me by the sea, our love was born to be, and all that we believed was a circle unbroken. We can't save the sky unless we learn to fly, forever you and I in a circle unbroken.
Circle's about me and my wife.
Okay.
And just like we've been married for 10 years, and you get to we love each other dearly, but you have kids, and then I'm a singer, and she's doing her work, and when we got married in Cuba on the beach.
Ah.
And they put a circle around us of flowers. So the lyrics are very literal.
Yeah.
About my relationship with her. That song chokes me up every time because I'm always thinking about my wife and my evolution. And so that song really kind of made things awesome.
Yeah, that must be why my wife, she was looking through the press release, and she's like, check this song out. And and actually, although I knew this, she said, this is about him and his wife, and she's like, check this out. Nice. So, I had to ask anyway, though.
Yeah, and that's going to be I think that's the next single will be Circle.
Okay, right on.
For sure.
Okay. Love Right Now.
We long to fly, but we stand on the ground and look at the sky, for the sun goes down. You and I love right now. We're all stars meant to shine, but we fall on our knees and wait for.
Some people said they think it's got a little bit of Maroon 5-ish little sound to it.
I don't think when I write music anymore. So I'm sure there's a lot of, that song is, I can't explain even how that, I literally just had this melody, played this keyboard part to the melody, and then I went to the studio where the guy that I co-write with pretty much is kind of like the member of the band now pretty much. We just work, really, we own the studio together that we built, and I just said, hey, listen to this idea. He's like, wow, you never even sing like that normally, but I think it's really cool. He's like, I woke up today thinking we should write a song called Love Right Now. And I said, that's the stupidest idea I've ever heard, but I'm going to try it because that's the way music works. Even if somebody gives you an idea, even if it's crazy left field, if you have had, experience with that person and you tapped into the other side, then he gave me that little snippet, you know, and I put it in there. And I was like, wow, that actually totally belongs there. I can't believe I even would have thought that it didn't belong there.
Yeah.
And then the whole song just happened really quickly after that.
It's just, it's wild sometimes how they, you know, fans, you know, like, yeah, it really sounds like this. And I really like that song. And, you know, they put you guys with another, you know, really cool sounding band.
Yeah. And that's fine. You know, I mean, honestly, my biggest influence is, I don't mind Maroon 5. I don't listen to Maroon 5. I mean, I like them. If I hear the song on the radio, I don't turn it off.
Sure.
But, you know, I'm listening to the Beatles. You know what I mean? Like, I love all music, but that's if there's any influence, probably Maroon 5 can say the same thing. We won't have the same influence or something. I don't know, right? But who knows? Maybe I don't really know a ton about their music other than that. When I do hear the songs, I don't stop them. I don't stop them from playing. Or if I'm out and the song comes on and, you know, people are dancing, I'll dance. It's good. You know?
Sure. Maybe it's a little bit of the vocal. Because when they said that, I went back. I went back and listened. I was like, well, yeah, maybe a little bit, you know, maybe a little bit of a tone there.
That's probably me listening to Michael Jackson a lot too.
Yeah. Hey, nothing wrong with that, man.
I know, he's just got this. Quincy Jones just got on my, like, I just wanted to, like, went back and listened to everything he produced, you know, chronologically.
Oh, sure.
I just really get into that. I just, you know, and I'll listen to one record like 100 times really loud in my car, you know, and that, who knows what happened, right?
Yeah.
That, definitely a timely song, at least. I think people hear that right now. Things are crazy, you know?
Yeah, of course. She's High Again.
There's a crooked white cross in my baby's heart. It's got her going back for more. There she goes again. She's high again. She's tripping with her friends without a care.
Here's what I got from this one. Cage the Elephant. Have you ever heard
cool.
of? Yeah, Cage the Elephant.
That's a great. I'm so glad that you heard that.
Yeah.
I thought the song was maybe a little too like, I don't think about it, right? It just, again, it comes out. So this song is actually old. This song,
Okay.
this chorus goes back to LA. I lived in LA for years, and I was living downtown LA, and my old guitar player, he's like, he got, you know, he was dating an actress, like a, you know, popular actress, and he got dumped. And he's like, man, I just want to meet a, you know, easy, awesome girl that just, like, walks in the door. And sure enough, dude, 2 hours later, some girl walked in the door, and she was beautiful, but like a drug addict, right? And she started living with the band, and so that song, it just kind of, like, the chorus has always been there. But I was too close to him to let the song finish itself.
Yeah.
And now we're all doing different things, and he's a great musician still. But and of course he's married to an amazing woman. Thank God, not the same person. So now I kind of, like, revisited it with Mark, and we started talking. That's the story of this girl and what one of her days are like. And we sort of pictured her, you know, going through one of her days and what it would have been like in Los Angeles and what it would have been like. That's kind of where that came from.
Even Angels.
You're too old to be so young. A lifetime caught in a landslide. Even angels fall from the sky. Even angels fall from the sky. Yeah.
I tell you why I'm going to ask about this one. Actually, I'll let you give me some meaning behind that song, and then I'll tell you after watching the video. It's really, I really poked all over it, you know, just like trying to, you know, watch it and pick, you know, different scenes from, and it was just really, you know, grab me. But let's talk about that one.
So I learned a very important lesson about making videos. If you got a guy who's got a vision like a director, just let him do it. So he had an interpretation of the song that was totally different than what I wrote, and I think that's awesome. And it still applies. Like, he wrote it, he had heard it sort of about suicide and males in his age group, He knows a lot. He's really into that. You know, a lot of guys in his age group are, you know, men are getting frustrated and they're dying, they're killing themselves. You know, this world is crazy. And
Yeah.
it's like even the best guys, like, yeah, I think he had a friend, even the best people, you just don't expect them to do that, and they do it. So I thought that was wonderful, and I just let him go with it, and it was a great message. I take care of my dad. He's 96.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Alzheimer's and dementia.
Yeah.
And I'm not letting him go to home really, because if you let him go to home, man, where I'm living, half the seniors died because of COVID.
Sure.
Like, it's just been so bad. Like, the one part of our health system that's privatized was the long-term healthcare homes, and they basically just killed all these old people off, man. Like, it was so bad. So that's another story, but it's about him and how he, you know, what he's going through. And he used to be this incredible human being, like, you know, he changed Greece. My dad stopped Greece from being fascist, man. Like, he helped the prime minister there, you know, he raised money to get him educated. It's just a different, and now he's just like this old man who doesn't, you know, he's like my kid now.
Sure.
And he's become this, like, just humble man that can't do anything without, you know, and he forgets every day. He forgets what happened the day before, you know, and that's kind of what that song's about, right? I can't sleep, I've had enough. He doesn't sleep at all. It's hard to remember, even angels fall from the sky, right?
Sure.
But yeah, that's what that one's about.
Yeah, I tell you, it makes sense now, man, because when I watched the video, of course, it shows a young lady sitting in, like, at a table in a cafe, and then the next scene is the old lady sitting there. Looks like she's, you know, really not there, like she has some sort of dementia, or she's just sitting there.
You could put a little bit of it in there, yeah.
Yeah.
That way.
I caught that, and then you know, she's being fed, and then, you know, wiping her mouth off, and yeah, I'm glad I asked about that, man, because I kind of got that, you know, going from scene to scene with the young lady. Then she, I guess, was older and, you know, couldn't really feed herself and just sitting there like.
There's another layer in the video that I think he put there, but to him, it's really he falls off the bridge and he wants to, and he replays his life. So he starts again. He's like, he has this, basically, I think what the director was doing is this guy had a vision about killing himself because his day went a certain way. And the whole video is in rewind.
Okay.
The whole video is backwards, dude. Right?
Now you're going to have to make me go back and watch it again now.
So
wow, because I'm really into video.
And then it's backwards, right? And it's about his day, right? So yeah, it's there's a lot going on there. And he still found a way to put some of my stuff in there too, right? But no, when I sing that song, I'm thinking about my dad and I'm thinking all that stuff.
Wow. You know, talking about that, dude, you know, he said, you know, he was a really, you know, great personality kind of guy and all that. Is that kind of, you know, because of course I've never had to deal with that right yet. Is that a lot to take on? You know what I mean? Like, you see your dad as this one figure, and then years later, you know, he's the, you know, this other figure, you know.
It just becomes something that you just learn how to do. You know, and a Dalai Lama, I have to watch a Dalai Lama talk every day, dude. Because my dad knows how to trigger me, and my dad, he's a great guy, but the last 20 years of his life with my mom, she was bipolar with dementia. He was getting dementia, and they were yelling and screaming at each other like dogs every day. So his biochemistry, he's ready to have an argument at 9:30 every night. And I've had to learn how to, like, not get entrapped in somebody's energy. It's been a great test for me, right? How to diffuse that and how to be compassionate about it, and just let him diffuse too. And I've learned a great deal from it. I've become a much stronger person, much more compassionate. And by strength, I mean compassion.
The artwork for the new release is a heart. Of course, it's the name of the CD and all, but why the human heart? What's the whole meaning behind using the human heart as
it's exposing yourself. The heart is, we all feel emotion right in the human heart, but we all make this pretty little idea of what it is. It's not pretty.
Sure.
It's beautiful if you understand it. And so I really wanted to make it I wanted to make a beautiful version of a human heart and use nice, like appealing colors, something that you could just look at and go, that's a heart, but it's not ugly, right? It's still, it is beautiful. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if that makes any sense. I was just trying to
to
really expose our
sense.
human nature, or human essence, what it really is, right?
I read that you and one of your bandmates or co-writers turned the church into a recording studio.
That would be Mark, right? So me and Mark, Mark bought a church, and I met Mark through a guy here named Rick Taylor, who's like the local, discoverer of new talent in our city, get you on the front page of the paper here, all that kind of stuff, right? Really great guy. And he introduced me to Mark, and I had a studio in my old house, and it wasn't working out for me because I was spoiled living in California. I worked in these amazing studios, right? And it was just like so easy to make great music, right? You're never convoluted by what am I listening to. You knew exactly what you were listening to, and you were done at the end of the day. You didn't have to go reference your mix. And I missed that. And I was talking to Mark about it. He's like, I got a church and I've got a plan to build a studio just like that. And he had AutoCAD, and I went over there and saw it. I'm like, yeah, I want to do this. So I brought all my gear over. We invested in a massive, beautiful, analog Neve console, Rupert Neve Designs console, like, huge desk, right? Like a 90 volts channel, class A.
Oh, wow.
You could fry an egg on it. It's so hot when it's on, right? And we put that in there. It's been a labor of love for both of us, and we record there. We started recording other people first. And then that's where I discovered, I really love the music I'm producing, not loving the music I'm making, right? And so I approached my own music as a producer, and I love listening to my record now. It's what a big difference. That little mental juxtaposition basically changed my own perception of what I make for myself, for me or the world, right?
So do you guys record a lot of different bands and artists there?
We used to record more people, but we found that it's really hard to find dedicated people. Like I work my ass off, right? Like we all got to do stuff, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And I would show up there. I got kids, wife, dad, and I'm there every day, hours a day. And then working with these people, and they're just like, well, I think I can come for 2 hours on Tuesday. And I'm like, no, that's not how this works.
Yeah, I understand that, man. Trust me.
It's not how this works. Like how this works is you pound on the door and beg to get time, and I give you all the time that I have because you are asking for it. You want to be here.
Right.
Oh, but I've got all these things to do. And well, everyone wants to be a doctor. They go and they borrow money. They do whatever they got to do. Their parents take out mortgages on their house, and they go to medical school, and not all of them graduate.
Sure.
But they go and they become doctors. But who does that with their own music?
Yeah. People just aren't really dedicated. I mean, some people are, some people aren't, dude. And it's like, you know what kills me, man, is it's always the people that are guys or girls, mostly guys, that are single, and they really have nothing to really take up too much of their time, but going to a cafe and just hanging out with some buddies or whatever. And it's like, dude, listen, man, I've got 4 kids, a wife. I do tons of stuff. And before I do podcast or concert photography or any interviews, I have to make sure that home base
That's right.
is good. If not,
right.
My ass is in a sling. It's like,
That's
hey,
right.
man, pause, kids, wife, hey, come on. And then like you said, you can't find anyone that's really dedicated, to really put their time and effort in, or they want to do it 1 or 2 hours a week. And it's like, man, you're wasting my time.
That's right.
You're wasting my time.
And they're talented people too. And it's just like they get distracted, or a lot of the, I always say this, a lot of people become musicians because they want to just say that this is why I'm not successful. They didn't become successful because I'm a musician. The reason I'm successful is because I'm a musician.
Sure.
I can do anything. I can run any business because this is the hardest business.
Oh yeah. Oh,
right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Jetpack Records, is that another co-ownership with?
That is the studio pretty much. Jetpack.
Okay.
That's me and Mark again.
Okay.
You know, there's a lot of Radio Free Universe started, like the remaking of Radio Free Universe was from the Jetpack down, right? And I just got the best guys, and they were all contributed immensely to the record. And I just found people that I love playing music. I love seeing the people I play music with. I can't wait to see these guys. Like, that's so important. Oh man, I can't wait to jam, right? Because it's not just the music; it's the camaraderie of the people that you're doing it with, right? But
right.
Yeah, Jetpack we started with that really first. I mean, Radio Free Universe goes years back, but it was something else, and it was supposed to be what it is now. That's why I kept the name, because I felt like I got this name that is totally inclusive, and I could make if I want to make an album with 3 hip hop songs on it and a country song and a pop song on it tomorrow, I'm going to do it.
I see that.
Right?
I see that.
And nobody can tell it sounds like the same record too.
Yeah.
If you really listen to them, they did that. They got away with that stuff. And that's why I think there's this, everyone's trying to get themselves in a little tiny track in a little market where what playlist on Spotify is going to play me. Just make the best thing you can. And
it just doesn't seem natural when they do. You can always tell, man, when a band just, I don't know if these are the right words, but they just rip themselves off when they put themselves in just a box. And, because it's almost like they can only play to that box, in that box, for them people in that box. And it's like,
it only takes, yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. And it only takes one person in the band with a strong personality to slowly do that to a band.
wow.
To put them in that box.
Yeah.
We're going to write guitar rock. All you need is that guitar player, and it's over.
I know a band, a band member like that one time. I was managing this band, and great band. But there's that one player, dude, that it was like, it was just like everything we would all agree upon. It was like, for whatever reason, he disagreed. And it's like, dude, if I don't need any pats on the back, but I kind of vouch for you. And it's like, now you want to argue with every single decision. And, it's just like, and he was that one player that wanted to do this and only this and tour only these shows and play only these clubs. And it's like, dude.
Whoa. That's overwhelming.
You guys are well known in Indiana, Midwest-ish, kind of. That's it. If a guy over in Cincinnati or down in Louisville wants to book you guys, you have to take it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Before I get too far off into left field, I know people like that as well. Hey, any advice for upcoming bands in this wild ass time?
Yeah, I'm not saying I found the way, because I haven't yet, but you got to be happy right now. Because if you're not happy, you're not going to want to make, like I did today. I made 15 live radio things with that took all day. Plus I'm working at the same time,
Sure.
You're not going to want to do that to something you don't absolutely love. Like, I love listening to this record. I got the vinyl. I put it on like I would one of my favorite albums. That's what you have to make. You have to make something so good for you that you're going to put it on with your favorite records, maybe before them. And it's not an indulgence in your ego. It's just, you just like the music you made.
That's cool, man, because
right.
I'll go ahead.
And that's number one.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two is slow down. Slow down. You're not going to make it next year. You're not going to make it in 3 months. You're not going to make it in 5 years. You may never make it. Making it does not matter. What matters is strategy that you take to getting at least somewhere, so that you can get out there and play for people, and people are going to want to see you play, right? Because that's where it starts. That's that first bit of strategy. That takes time, money. You got to find money. I don't have any money. Get 5 people, do what you got to do. Find a way, find guys like me with awesome studios that you're going to throw everything into and try to make something that you love. Or if you got to do what I did, spend your whole life learning how to record people, work for everybody else, So you have your own studio, then tough luck. Then that's what you got to do to make something that's so overwhelmingly good for you that you want to get on the phone and scream and shout to people about it. And then when you play it for somebody, they're like, damn, this guy is not full of it at all. Like, you're not saying you got to listen to this. It's just that simple. You know, you're enough to make that phone call, you know, like it's just little tiny things. And then when that all just kind of lines up. I remember I was afraid to call producer buddies of mine that I'd made friends with in California because I never thought the music was good enough. But now that I thought this music was good enough, I just called them out of the blue after years. And they're like, oh man, how you doing? Check this out. And the guy he's like, you got to talk to these people right now. He didn't say, let me reproduce you. He didn't say, I'm going to make you better. He just said, you got to get this out. Like, let me get this over to the right people. And then the right people, you know, you got to find that team, man, and nurture it. It takes a long time. And then you're going to work that record for 2 years.
Right.
Because you just spent all this money and time doing it.
Yeah.
Right. And you better have 5 singles on that record, or 3 at least. Right. Yeah. And you better have a way to get that music to radio. You better have a publicist that called you. Even my publicist, she's great, you know, but she loves the band a lot too. So she, you know, she made a deal. You know what I mean? So you just have to keep at it and just don't just kind of make something as fast as you can. Put it out there, release it to your local people, because nobody where you live really cares.
You're right.
They don't care. You're gonna play for the same 100 people all the time. Once every 3 months, you cannot make a living.
You're
right?
exactly right, man.
That's really, and I think from there, what I'm talking about just kind of falls into place, because once you have the product that you love, you are going to make the phone calls.
Sure.
That's how it is.
Where can we get more of Radio Free Universe, man? Where can our listeners get more of you guys?
Well, you've got the record, you've got vinyl, and you go to our sites and Spotify and stuff. We are working on new material. We have a bunch of like live acoustic stuff coming out. So just like, you know, in their studio, we can't tour right now.
Right.
And everybody wants us to, and we can't, right?
Yeah.
And we're in Canada. They close that border, bro. They're just like, oh, no way. And we, you know, so that's cool, but hopefully that goes away. And you know, we're just on our socials, Facebook, Instagram. You know, it's another thing. I don't take my socials as the end and be all of everything. I post like one really cool thing every week and a half, every 2 weeks. You know what I mean? If I'm really busy, then I post a bunch of stuff. If we're playing all the time, then I'm going to post a bunch of stuff. But it's COVID right now, you know, so I'm making all these virtual in-studio performances that we're going to post.
That's cool.
Kind of live. Like, it's basically, instead of production, it's the same song, but dude's playing acoustic bass with really old 7-year-old strings, and you know, maybe a djembe, really cool, and maybe like an acoustic guitar, you know what I mean, and some percussion and a vocal and a piano, big grand piano, right? I'm gonna do sort of a version of the songs with that you can follow up on, and we will be making some. We are starting to write more now, but I'm gonna push this record really hard for a little bit more, a few more months.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And then hopefully we'll be able to tour it. That's really hopefully by the end of the second singles promo, we'll be able to get out there and tour this record.
All right, cool, man. Cool. Well, that's about all I got, man.